You know what you're doing. You are listening to the Giants guys. Who in the house? Yep, that's us. The Giants guys. I am Craig Santucci, your host of the Giants guys. These are my peeps here and there. We're back in the lab. Gonna record you. That was Michael Stewart jumping in somewhere in the vicinity in the building. We're in the lab. We're recording our video podcast for your enjoyment, for your entertainment, to upload, download, or whatever you feel is necessary. Today's kind of easy. I didn't challenge these guys with any hard topics. I got my new lid on, so I'm feeling spiffy.
That's pretty nice.
Thank you, sir. Spiro's actually wearing a jersey hat. I like it. Mike B's hair's looking fresh. Because he's got some trim going. Jeffy's got his beard back. We got Michael Stewart on camera. So we're good to go. I've actually kind of tipped it a little bit, get some light in here, because for some reason I always turn up very dark. Anyway, these are my guys from nygiantsrush.com. We are going to crank through some topics, keep you entertained for 45, 50 minutes. And we're going to start off with what I call the never-ending saga of DeAndre Baker. We're just calling this baked because we've gotten to the point in this saga where now we have people being paid off to say nice things. There's evidently some new lawyers involved. People still guarantee he's getting off. So I guess the question I have for you guys is, do we even care anymore? Like, are we over this? Is he like, yeah, we're mad. We moved up for him in the draft. But do we really care if DeAndre Baker comes back at this point? The drama is just so thick, so heavy that at some point you just move on, right? Kind of like it was like we loved Plaxico, but everything that came after the shooting was just like, you couldn't deal with it anymore, right? And that was after a Super Bowl. Here we are scrapping for 6 wins, and we got a guy who doesn't understand what was given to him. So I'm going to start off with you, Mikey B. What's your take? Do we have enough people in-house to start? Are we cool with, with Love, and are we cool with the new safeties we brought on board? And do we even care if DeAndre Baker comes back?
At this point, I think you got to just move on. I mean, Joe Judge is going to sit down with him and get to the bottom of his character pretty quickly. I think that he's a good judge of he's a good people person, Joe Judge. He's proven to be very effective at connecting with players and communicating. So for the morale and character of the team, I think you just move on. As much as it hurts, because I was counting on him to have a kind of a sophomore bounce back season and surprise some people. But if he can't keep his head on straight, and if he's not gonna be somebody who knows he's letting other people down when he makes these kinds of mistakes, then you know what, we don't need him. We'll move on and we'll work with what we have.
I like it. I'm kind of feeling the same thing. Like, it just seems like it doesn't get any better, right? The story kind of gets deeper and deeper. Jeffy, do we have enough people in-house to just start the season off? If there's a season, do we have enough bodies in-house to just roll on?
For me, I kind of want to see it through just because it's such a valuable position. It's not like he was a bona fide rock star his rookie year and we can't do without him. It's also not like we have this incredible defense where we've got other guys that can step in and replace him. We're a defense that's in the works. We're still cooking this defense up. So what if he winds up being innocent? You don't want to let him go because we did invest a lot in him. I'm willing to see it through because these things happen in the NFL all the time where these guys get accused and then acquitted and then it's just swept under the rug. So Zeke was in all sorts of trouble his rookie year and his sophomore year, and nobody cares now. He's a stud. It doesn't matter.
Remember, though, that was because Zeke was good.
Zeke is good. But if this guy can be good, either way, I want to see it through. I don't want to cut him. He is a distraction. It's against the culture we're trying to build. But at this point, see it through. If it continues to get ugly and he's guilty, obviously, sayonara. But for now, see it through. It's a valuable position.
All right, Spirit, do we have enough people in-house, though? Let's say he can't play. Are you cool with what we have?
I might be one of the few, but I think we are cool with what we have. This is like, people were getting on Gettleman for cluster drafting all these cornerbacks, but now you got Love. You got, we signed Bradbury. You got Beal that they took a high third round comp draft pick, and you got Ballantyne.
My man Holmes.
And you got Holmes. Holmes is going to battle out for the slot. So I think for me, I'm putting him there. But Ballantyne and Beal and Love are going to have a real nice battle for that second cornerback slot. And I think Beal could take it, but the question is health for him. And then Ballantyne. I love what I saw at Ballantyne last preseason. So put him back out there. Throw out last year because he's not a slot guy. And, let them battle it out.
All right. Michael Stewart, one is, do you care anymore? Are you over this story? Are you ready to move on? Or like Jeffy, you're like, we're going to hold out because we want to hold on to the fact that we gave a lot up for him and we want to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Well, the way I am about character, I guess I'm a stickler about that stuff. But very disappointed in what transpired with Baker. I really am. First round pick, he had promised, like Spiro said, and I really thought he would turn the corner this year. But I think even if he gets exonerated from this, I think he's going to get suspended by the league anyway. So Giants move on. They got players in-house, but like every year, when the waiver wire comes through, don't be surprised if they pick up a corner.
Sure, that makes a lot of sense. And Jeffy's boy might just step in and get himself a job. Right?
You can never have enough corners.
That guy is not going to stay on the bench for too long.
No.
I'm riding.
He's working out with Peppers.
Yeah, I saw that.
Who is jacked, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Jeff,
What'd you say, Pepper jacked?
Yeah.
Who said?
Jeff,
like
that's my so where last year was put love in, this year is Pepper Jack.
Hashtag Pepper Jack. No.
Yep, that's the new hash. Every year we'll get a new hashtag.
It's a good nickname for him.
Yeah.
Every time he makes a play and I'm watching the game with my boys, it's gonna be Pepper Jack.
Here's the thing. Listen, we talked about depth for the cornerbacks, but let's not forget our safeties are gonna be way improved, which will help the whole situation out. You got McKinney now alongside Peppers, and hopefully Peppers, they both stay healthy for the whole year. That's going to help the situation out.
It's a great duo.
You've got I'm sure Woody Call's still going to make the team. Wow, am I drawing a blank?
Kelly?
No.
Beal.
Haley. Haley, right?
Haley, yeah.
Possibly.
I'm sorry, yes. Right,
Yeah,
Michael.
that saved them. I think that might have saved them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, at least you've got a veteran there that knows how to play ball. They're going to learn the system, but, for what it is, you've got now your safeties have risen up to the level of the cornerback play. It should allow you to make maybe a hard decision on, putting Baker on ice for half the year if it happens. I mean, like Michael Stewart said, is, in 2020, and by the way, we've been rolling snake eyes on 2020 since January.
Worst.
Every day you wake up, it's something else, right? I'm literally going to print T-shirts up to say 2020 snake eyes, because it's every day you're rolling the dice and something bad's happened. So you have to kind of keep yourself extra clean, because everything is sticky now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything you do stays with you; it doesn't go away. So it's a good conversation. Again, I don't want to throw away the kid. I always say the same thing. You don't throw away good football players, but he just didn't show he wanted it last year. Yeah. So I'm kind of some guys figure it out, some guys don't. And now you're coming around the corner saying, oh, well, this whole thing's phony. People getting paid off. They should have just taken their medicine right up front with him pulling a really bad stunt, with him trying to be whatever, tough guy, whatever it was, and taking their medicine 6 weeks ago.
Yeah, it's
now,
dragging out now.
Yeah, because now we're 6 weeks later and we're still dealing with it. So
Yeah.
I wish him the best. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it's going to be okay. Maybe not the ideal situation. All right, so that's done. We're done with baked because my man is baked. So with everything happening, COVID-19, season ticket holders, no season ticket holders, let's talk about, something a little bit closer to home, and that's the NFC East. And let's talk, show notes, baby. Better late than never. Normally they come out early. They did not today. That's me. But topic number 2 is distraction and more distraction. So we've got Dak issues. We got the Washington football team
Harassment.
issues. Yeah, I mean, they've got
Did you say Haraskins?
No, harassment.
That actually
pretty good,
works
though.
though.
Harassment. That's pretty good.
And
That
it's-
rung a great bell. I didn't know if you just wrote that or what, but I'm going to use that.
Yes.
That was very well timed.
I don't know what's their team name going to be.
We don't know.
Nobody knows.
Yeah, no one knows. Yeah.
And by the way, that's not only like one part of the problem. You've got Gruden now is back in the mix with the sex parties, all sorts of harassment, and I mean the issues go on forever. Like when you thought about like teams like in the 70s with the Raiders, it was players partying and drinking and getting in trouble, right? And then you have all those, those great Steeler teams and the Dallas. Like it was always about players partying. This is like an organizational problem from the top all the way down. This isn't like the water boy stealing jerseys or
pimping out cheerleaders and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, this is a nightmare from beginning to end. Now it's not just the name or the colors or the logo. The entire Washington football team is under major scrutiny. Who knows what's going to happen? And of course, like I said, we've got quarterback issues on the Cowboys thing. Money, sign them, don't sign them, take it. That's a distraction internally. They'll tell you it's not. Quarterback's your leader of your team. Everybody stands around. It's very polarizing what's going to happen. So the question is that I throw out to you, gentlemen, is as much as we love, and we know we love being the underdog because we win when we're the underdog, right? Does this give the Giants a little bit of sneaky momentum in the NFC East as an opportunity just to play ball with a no-nonsense coach? We don't know a lot about him yet, but we're projecting that he's a no-nonsense coach with a nice staff. Spiro, does this give the Giants an edge at maybe getting into playoffs at 7-9 or 8-8? Because these other teams aren't going to be ready normally with, no practice, right? And everything that's going on. But now you've got all this other BS, heaped on top of it. What does that do for the Giants?
Well, I do think that puts us miles ahead of the Redskins because they're going to have to be dealing with this all season long. They're just I'd put them in the running for the number 1 pick at this point, which might actually work out against us because Trevor Lawrence is there. But that's neither here nor there. But the Eagles are still the Eagles. They still got a great roster. Cowboys. The Dak thing might rear its ugly head if they get a couple losses and pressure mounts. But ultimately, I think I still put us third behind them, but we're going to sneak off a couple wins because we're definitely flying under the radar here. And Joe's going to rally the troops and use that all that talk against us. It's going to be us against the world kind of deal. And I do think they'll sneak off 7 wins or so, and still not going to be enough probably to make a dent, but it's going to be under the radar, and they're going to sneak up on people for sure. It's going to be a tough team to play.
So you don't think like in a sneaky way that with all the other distractions going on, the Giants just come in here and sneak a couple wins to squeak them into a playoff spot?
I do think they're going to fall just short. Redskins are absolute crap show, but the Eagles and Cowboys are still a step ahead of us.
All right.
Yeah.
Mikey B, what do you got?
The one thing that the Eagles and Cowboys have that we don't, you have to remember, expectations. And I think that there's a lot to be said about that. This is almost like a free year-ish with Joe Judge, with
Okay.
Danny Dimes' first year without Eli there, the building of something new. And the Cowboys just paid their quarterback. They
Is he happy?
they have well, I don't know about that, but they have this new coach that is, all of their problems the last few years is all Jason Garrett, if you ask anybody who's a Cowboys fan. And now there's really no excuses for them, right? And then from the Eagles standpoint, you have that little shiny glory from the Super Bowl is now a little bit of a distant memory. And it's like, all right, can I get a full season out of Wentz? Like, let's go, Doug Peterson, Wentz. Like, there's more expectations for those guys to do well. So we're in a little bit of a different position. So I think we play free, we play loose. And quite frankly, we know when we did the predictions, like, it wouldn't surprise me one bit if they snuck in and won the division.
At what? 7-9, 8-8? What?
No, when we had our win predictions, I was 9-7.
All right. I'm sure Jeffy's got it in the book somewhere.
It's in the book somewhere. Yeah.
All right, Michael Stewart, what's your thought here? Like, does any of this matter, or are we still a 6-10 team, or does some of this distraction help us out, Michael Stewart?
Well, I really don't know if it helps or hurts us, but I know the Giants will be a prepared team with Judge. I think you'll see a different mentality, different attitude with this team. You're going to see like crazed dogs, like Lawrence Taylor once said. You're going to see a lot of gang tackling. I think this team will be better than last year. Will they win the division? I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball, but I know one thing. If they want to make the playoffs, they have to win the division. You're not going to get a wild card out of that division. It's not going to happen.
So Michael Stewart is the favorite to win the division, the Cowboys, with a newly paid quarterback who's still not happy, or the Eagles?
I think the Eagles are a better team.
Okay.
I'm not saying by much, but I think they're a better team. But anything can happen, barring injuries, anything can happen.
Jeffy?
The Haraskins are an absolute dumpster fire. That should absolutely be 2 wins for the Giants. And yes, Dak is looking for a long-term deal. He's not happy, but once kickoff happens, that stuff doesn't matter. The Cowboys they know they have our number. Same with Philly. For us to win the division, we're going to need a lot more than distractions from the other teams. We're going to have to beat them. And it's not going to happen with what's going on in Philly or Dallas. Philly, has a recent playoff Super Bowl success, like Stewart said, and we're going to need more than distractions. I think, I don't know. We'll be okay. We're going to surprise some people. We're definitely going to win some games that people didn't think we should. We're going to do a hell of a lot better than the 29th ranked team that came out today. But I don't think this is a playoff year.
And yet 7 wins is a good season, in my opinion, given the first-year coach and what they're trying to build towards. I consider that a successful season.
Yeah, I actually 100% agree with both of you. All of you. I mean, 7-9 was what I think I had slapped on my early prediction anyway.
Same.
The only thing that I have found is 80s, 90s, early 2000s. I think the players were just different, right? I think now, and you guys can correct me, you guys are definitely a little bit more old school than probably I give you credit for, because I'm finding today's player is about guys getting paid and getting out of the sport, where 90s, early 2000s, these guys hung on as long as they could, and they played into their late 30s, right? Like, you're not going to find Russell Wilson playing football when he's 40.
He makes $30+ million a year. Why would he?
But Tom Brady does, and he is, because, again, there's a 10-year difference. So my point is this, where I'm going is, I'm just not so sure that today's player sits around and says, good job, Dak, you got yours. I feel more of this like, hey, man, we're trying to win. Sign a contract. Let's go. Like, I find maybe a little bit more in 2020 with, like I mentioned, rolling snake eyes. It's not the same football as it used to be. These guys care about who gets paid and who doesn't. These guys pay attention. Look, franchise tag. I'm not playing unless I get this. Guys that don't deserve it, like Leonard Williams. These guys care about making money now. Football's not a long-term thing, right? It's a now thing. So I'm not so sure there's not going to be a little bit of up. First of all, like you mentioned, Spiro, Redskins, dumpster fire. Or maybe that was Jeffy. Like, I don't see how they get out of their own way. But I'm just throwing it out there that, the Eagles had some major injuries in the last couple of weeks, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And
Yep.
Jalen Hurts, don't forget about Jalen Hurts, Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz struggles, gets injured. Could be another distraction for you.
Correct. And again, I'm not like a conspiracy guy whatsoever, unless we're talking about JFK, in which we're not. I'm just not quite buying the fact that this Dak thing doesn't have a lot of things bubbling under the surface, because guess what? I saw it with T.O. and McNabb and guys getting extensions and guys doing push-ups and sit-ups in their driveway down the street from my house and stuff. I'm just not so sure that the 2020 Cowboys aren't ready to implode themselves, because the quarterback looks really greedy for a middle-of-the-pack quarterback. What is he, the 12th, 13th best quarterback in the league, maybe 15?
Probably, yeah.
I'm not so sure there's not some guys in there that are looking at him like, you got to be kidding me, dude. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm just saying, we're going to move on, but remember this, when they started exploding and imploding mid-season, you're like, damn, Santucci knows what he's talking.
I think you're right.
From your lips to God's ears.
Yeah, I do think it's going to matter, like if they're winning some games or not. Because if it gets for either team, right? Because you're going to hear the backup quarterback whispers in Philly, drafted this guy. Let's see what he could do. He's a high caliber guy.
And
I mean, that would be best case for the Giants if both situations play out and we can just sneak.
Well, you have backup quarterback in Dallas too. Don't forget Andy Dalton.
True. Very true.
Don't forget about the controversy.
The ginger.
Well, listen, we can
the Red Rifle. Red Rocket.
And you know what? We'll make it a mission right now. Giants guys, okay, are not going to let the NFL fan forget how many times Carson Wentz has fumbled.
Stir that pot. You got to stir that pot.
Damn right. You know what? It's all your jobs right now to tag every tweet with Wentz fumbles too. All right? Because you know what? Every single day we live with dime. Now, listen, I'm the first guy. I don't like a quarterback who fumbles because ball security is something you're taught in 8th grade, high school. Literally, but by your sophomore year of high school, you don't fumble the ball anymore. So my theory is, we're allowed to kill Wentz on that, so we're going to get to that. All right, boom. Moving on. We're the Giants guys. You are listening to the Giants guys, and you can find us all on nygiantsrush.com. As long as Michael Stewart stops sending me his articles in bold, it's going to be okay.
Wait, time out.
We can't time out. We're on a live show.
Wait a minute. I thought I had to do that. I thought you wanted me to do that.
No. You know what? We will talk about that off air. Yes, we will talk about that off air. Jeffy's like, I got stuff going on. Spiro's like, I'm tired. Mikey B's like, I gotta get more stuff for my hair. Right? So, yeah, we're all good, man. I'm having fun with you guys. You know that. Next one, I call it sick bay. Next period is, are you in favor of an expanded roster? And I was writing some notes today that the talk in the NFL meeting today was flexible injury, a special roster, okay, where you could have as many guys as you want coming in and coming off the roster. And the conversation was revolving around having 54-man roster and a second 54-man roster, because you may have, let's say Michael Stewart brought this up 3 weeks ago, that in a running back room, one guy gets it, the whole running back room goes down. What do you do when 3 of your running backs go down? So going to try to get your opinion on rosters, how many people, what your thoughts are, because think about it. These guys spend a lot of time with their position group. If your 4 running backs go down, what are you really going to do? You really need to have 3 guys step in at that point in time. You're not going to go out and convert guys. So the question is, are you in favor of expanded roster, to a complete second roster, or maybe just flexible to add on who you want when you want? So, Mikey B, I'm starting with you. What's your thought on this roster talk? Because it's going to be important, because guaranteed you have 3-4 guys a minimum go down a year, or excuse me, a team.
Yeah. I don't know about a whole second roster, but I think you expand the practice squad and you expand the game day or game day roster and then just rosters in general. This is something we've never gone through before, right? Expanding the roster is gonna give other guys opportunities, even if it's just practice reps, even if it's just being on an NFL roster. That is gonna help. There's gonna be some guys that opt not to play. There's gonna be some guys that just aren't comfortable. So I think that you do expand the rosters. If you're asking for an exact number, maybe you go to 60 players active and take it from there.
And maybe no rules about adding and subtracting.
Yeah, they're gonna have to be reasonable there.
Jeffy?
I think a second roster is overkill. I mean, what would the waiver wire look like if every team had two 53-man rosters? There would be nowhere else to go. But I think,
well, it'd give a lot of college guys a job.
right, and good for them. I don't know, maybe 65 or 70, like Mikey B was saying. But I think a second whole roster is a little nuts. But these are unprecedented times. Nobody knows what the hell is going on or what we're supposed to do or what's the right thing to do. If a whole running back room goes down, that sucks. It's probably not just that room. It's probably going to, and that's the worst case. Is if that starts happening, then we're not going to have a season. They're going to pull the plug if it happens like that.
Just keep this in mind, because this is unprecedented. It's going to happen.
Yep.
It's 2020. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
You will have a team where the entire offensive line gets wiped out. Because that's just what 2020 is.
How could it not happen? If we finish a 16-game season, fans or no fans, I would be absolutely shocked. I mean, I'd be happy because we all need it so bad. But I would be absolutely shocked if they pull off a 16-game season.
Michael Stewart, what do you got for me on this roster?
Well, I agree. I kind of agree with everybody else. I think they should expand the roster. Again, not double it, but expand it. I have been reading about the practice squad, how they're going to expand that. That's in the works. I have been reading that. I don't know where it's going to – I know it's 12 now, and I don't know how high they'll go up. But I'm in favor of doing that because we are going to have that. We're going to have people getting it. So it's not when. It's not if, it's when.
Yeah, and also remember, so 14 days. You're going to put somebody down for 14 days. They're
at least.
Yeah, at least.
Minimum.
Yeah. Spear, what do you got?
Well, first I'd like to say that the fact that we haven't iron these details out by now, the NFL is just unbelievably fallen short on these protocols and what they're going to be doing. Training camps start in literally 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and they're still trying to get their ducks in order and not even close.
They're hashing out preseason today.
It's just brutal. But I do think that each position should have their practice squad should be expanded to each position having a depth player there. But if you think about it, there's too many. If you ever watch the third, fourth quarter of a preseason game, it's just brutal to watch. Some of these players are just not NFL caliber. So it's going to get ugly if you put more than one person on your roster and you spread that along 32 teams. So I think one player per position on a practice squad and the ability to pick up guys off the street should be unlimited after that.
I'd even go as far as say this again. I'm all about being creative. It's why not, right? I just feel like right now they're being so conservative. They've left themselves no time, right? Here's the thing. When does the CFL play football? Does anybody know when they play?
It's a good question. I think they start a little bit before the NFL does.
Correct. There's an with the XFL just folding and all this. There are, to Spiro, I got where you're coming from. They're not NFL quality, but it's not like watching the scabs of Michael. When was the strike year?
So you asking me?
Yeah, when was the strike year?
Wasn't it 94? Something like that?
94. So, I'm not talking 94 scabs. I mean, those guys were bagging food at ShopRite. I'm talking about guys that have been playing like right now, CFL players coming down, XFL players. What's the draft going to look like? Those guys these guys might not have a college season.
Yeah.
So for me you hit the nail on the head, Spear. Like their preparation seems all about money and not safety and not putting a good product on the field. Everyone's just worried about getting paid. So if they really want to just pull out the stops, they'd say, you know what? We're going to allow you to pick up who you want, when you want. And if this guy literally walks from Florida State onto your roster, we're cool with it. You know, you sign him to a 1-week contract and let him come in and play ball. This guy comes down from Saskatchewan and he wants to play ball, sign him. Otherwise, you're just going to get bad football.
It is crazy. The NFL had more time than every other sport.
The most.
You know, like they rolled through with the draft, and everyone's like, "Really? You're going to do it virtual?" Like, if you started planning in April, you would have been so buttoned up by now. And they're just offering the players no preseason games now. Like today, it's July 20th. What are you doing? Like they could have had this buttoned up a long time ago.
As Johnny Manziel used to say,
yeah.
That's all they're worried about is who's paying who's getting paid. They don't worry about the fans.
But for a company that brings in that much, you know, you'd think they would have mapped everything out and had this thing ready to go and hit the road running by now. And now they're just starting from square one. Like they're still at the beginning, start line. Like I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense. They're head in the sand, hoping for what, a vaccine, or that this would magically poof go away. Just
no fans in the stands. I saw today. The governor said,
"Yeah, that was, you know, a given." I feel like, but like,
exactly,
it's brutal.
The interesting thing is like the only thing I ever bad the NFL about is the officiating. Like I think they do a really bad job of evaluating these guys and giving them incentive for the good guys and stuff like that. But this just seems like pure greed. You know what? Just keep finding a way to send a check in. We'll worry about the rest later. So yeah, I'm with all you guys. But as long as this, I don't care if they give him one player, I don't care. But it's got to be flexible because the minute a bunch of scabs come on and this is 1994 again, I'm turning it off. I just am. I'm not. You know, like there's a line you draw in the sand, and you're like, look, I got 15 guys on this roster playing ball that literally, you know, were doing construction last week, or you know, like.
And you see that, and in recent years, you see that September football is not good because of the way that none of these guys play in the preseason as it is. So this year, it's going to be even worse.
Yep, the CBA is constructed like that. No hitting, less practice, no pads, more vacation, more strippers, more drugs. You know, I thought we were talking about Washington for a second. All right, so we're cranking through some shows. People. We're the Giants guys. You can get us on Vimo. You can get us on. Someone keeps Twitter questions always come in. Jeffy, you're in charge, Jeffy. No, you're not in charge. Mikey B, you're in charge of getting us on iTunes. He didn't even
happen.
I don't know, but
he's like, maybe if I don't move, he won't see me.
I don't know if I'm your guy for something like that, but
come on, man, don't let me down.
We'll look into it.
All right,
we'll look into it.
So you can, So
I'll help you out.
You can find us there. I had a guy today says, "What happened to John Fennelly?" I said, "My man John retired in January. That was 5 months ago." Where? So there is a lot of people that used to get us on iTunes and Stitcher. So. All of us, because I can't do it by myself. That's why I got you guys.
Yeah, we'll look into it.
Collectively figure out how to get more distribution because people like the Giants guys. I like the Giants guys. That's why I started it, and you guys are better than me. So we need to figure out how to bring the Giants guys to the masses.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we need to keep working on that. All right, this is always the bonus round. It's always fun, and I'm going to shake it up because I'm not going to go last this time. So here we go. We are in bonus round. It's kind of like my fantasy pick thing because I was thinking about with all the, uncertainty of the NFL and kind of what we're up against. I was thinking about like, do you really have the roster that you want? Golden's still out there, Clowney, these guys, right? Who are we going to sign and all that stuff? How about we get a pass? The question is, and I think you guys know because as I told you, show notes, you're allowed to steal one player from a team with no repercussions. You're allowed right now to give him a plane ticket, get him to New York, and he's allowed to play for you. Don't matter who. Don't care what team. Don't care how old. Long as he's active. You can't go get, Mean Joe Green or something like that. But who do you want right now? And because I have a point to this whole thing, by the way. I know I ramble, but there's always a point. I'm starting this off because I think you guys are going to like where I'm going with this. My fantasy player that I think I would go out and get right now above all the players. And Jeff, it's going to throw you for a loop because it's not a pass rusher. Okay? Yes. See how big his eyes got? I'm going out and I'm getting Justin Tucker, the kicker for the Ravens.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming.
Woo.
And I'm going to tell you why. How many years do we have to continue to play this game with the kickers?
Not
I'm
a Rosas fan? Not a Rosas fan.
I am shocked.
Rosas.
Because
He made the Pro Bowl 2 years ago.
He did.
He sucked the year before. He worked himself into an above-average year and then sucked the next year too.
He's a booze hound.
We need a guy. Listen, Justin Tucker, Ravens, most accurate kicker in the NFL, holds it at 90.8%. Last year, 96.6%.
That's stupid.
Facts. Okay? Most accurate kicker in NFL history. I just want to be done with the monotony of like, oh, it's another year. Who's kicking for the Giants? Oh, we missed an extra point. Well, I'm done with it. I'm done with it. Bad snaps, guys that are beating their wives. I'm done with it all. I just want a kicker. Listen, kickers are weird to begin with. Every college kicker I had was off his rocker, like 2 burgers short of a Happy Meal. However, this Giants team has not had any stability kicking. Just give me a guy who kicks the ball. Okay, just kicks the ball. Every time through the uprights, game over, I can go home. So I'm starting this round saying my fantasy player, which was, believe it or not, Jeffy, I didn't even think twice. It came right to me, and I was like, I just want a kicker. So I'm taking Justin Tucker, kicker for the Ravens. Michael Stewart, you are up. Who are you bringing to the Giants with no repercussions?
Well, this is a guy I had in my mock draft over Odell Beckham, and it's Aaron Donald. I would take him in a heartbeat.
Fair. That's a fair move right there.
Even with all the beef we got there now, though?
I don't care. You can play him anywhere in the line. Anywhere in the line.
He is a
Dude,
monster.
actually, if you had Aaron Donald, you'd probably put him on the outside. He'd be a pure DN on the Giants.
Yeah, you put him on the other side, and just so you go to a 4-3 now. So you change your defense. And
It is true. It's a valid point. If you had Aaron Donald, you'd go 4-3 tomorrow. You'd be like, 4-3.
Scrap the whole defense if you get him on there. Yeah, whatever you got to do.
Okay. Yeah, Judge would come and go, okay, whatever you were going to do, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
and then he'd open the door, and Aaron Donald would walk in, and everyone would be like, we're not worthy.
We suck.
Yeah. All right, Spirit, what you got?
This is going to be, not a sexy move, but
what, mine was sexy?
I mean, can I ever beat Justin Tucker? I don't know, but Quentin Nelson would be my pick. Big nasty offensive lineman, just open up holes for everybody.
Good pick.
If it wasn't going to be Barkley in that draft, it was Nelson for me. I love that guy. He just knocks people's heads off, and that's the kind of Snee was one of my favorite Giants players. I like my offensive lineman mean and just ready to bulldoze, and that's what Nelson does.
Yeah, he does pancake some
boys.
He
brings a mentality to this offensive line that we haven't had in years, and that's why the Colts looked like a legit force last year or the past 2 years. So that'd be my move.
All right, Jeffy, what you got?
I'm going back to the same draft, 2018, and we did take Saquon Barkley, number 2 overall, and I can't help but wonder why this guy fell as far as he did. Lamar Jackson was taken with the 32nd overall pick. Literally every team passed on him. And the Giants were 2 picks away. We could have made any kind of move. Eli, we knew he was riding into the sunset. We could have walked out of the 2018 draft with Saquon Barkley and Lamar Jackson.
I I'm putting an X over your box.
Well, he was the MVP last year, so it's not that crazy.
Yeah,
Oh,
but no one
what do you
expected
need a
this.
running
No one
quarterback for?
I know the Giants ownership would never do it.
No.
I,
What do you need a running quarterback for? We have.
hold on a second. What do I need? They were the number one offense. They scored like 80 more points than the next best team. That's why.
It was Tucker. It was because of Tucker.
Yeah, Mikey. Thank you, Mikey B.
Listen, can you imagine an offense? Say we kept Beckham, and you have Beckham, Lamar Jackson, and Saquon Barkley. Like,
Oh yeah, that would be beautiful. Yeah, fighting over who was going to run the ball.
listen, I love Danny Dimes, and I'm glad we got him, but we were 2 picks away from landing Lamar Jackson and Saquon Barkley. You can thumbs down all you want, Justin Tucker.
Craig's the guy that would take a kicker like in the 5th round of a fantasy draft and just blow it all up.
Again, the only reason why I don't want to talk about it anymore. Like halfway through the year, we're all like this. Why do our kickers suck so bad? You know, I mean, come on, our kicker got DUI, hit and run. Like honestly, how many kickers do we have with a story? One guy can't kick. One guy's beating his wife. This guy's got DWI. Who was the guy before? Who was the guy? Oh, Robbie Gould was so good we let him go.
What was wrong with him? Guy was quiet and just make field goals. Let him go.
They wanted to save $600,000 on the cap.
I guess.
Yeah,
Brutal.
like the minute you're like, okay, this is solved, you're like, nope. Now we're. It's like 10 years of Jerry Reese not signing a linebacker just because.
It's definitely a cursed position.
Justin Tucker is the only guy. Like, it doesn't matter how far away the kick is. It's literally always perfectly through the post.
Yes.
It never.
He missed one though. Didn't he miss an extra point a few years ago in a game that mattered?
Everybody was shocked.
His eyes were like,
have his skull.
And the thing about that kick that he missed, he's still the most accurate kicker in the league. Like one was like this. Okay, it was one.
it's the only one he ever missed. I like the offensive line route. Nelson's not a bad pick. Ronnie Stanley wouldn't be a bad pick. If I'm going video game, I would like to see maybe McCaffrey with Barkley, but we're gonna hold off. What I'm doing here is, as tempted as I am to take Patrick Mahomes, I believe that much that Danny Dimes will be special. So I'm going with Nick Bosa because he's young. It addresses an immediate need. I think he's going to be a stud for years. And I think he's just really matches a team need and a rock solid player that I think would bring a lot to the table right away.
I don't hate that.
That's where I'm going.
Yeah.
I don't hate that. I'm curious to see what he does his sophomore year because, like, in your thought process, I probably would have went T.J. Watt first in that thought process. Only because I think he's a little bit more versatile as we run a 3-4-4-3 hybrid, right?
That's fair. That's fair.
Watt having a little bit more value. I like Bosa, but he is only a 4-3 DN.
Yeah, I must say though, I'm shocked that you went with Jackson over Mahomes. If you're going to go that route, I think Mahomes is like, put him in Canton, like that's it. Like, good night.
We don't need a quarterback. We need a kicker.
Agreed.
Yeah, but hold on a second. Mahomes only played one game his rookie year. The first year he started, he was an MVP. The second year he started, he was a Super Bowl MVP champion. That's a different breed than Daniel Jones. Let's be honest.
Yeah, of course.
You'd argue that quarterback's arguably the most valuable position on the field. So if you upgrade that spot,
Daniel Jones will be enough to make us a competitive football team.
I agree.
And he will make special plays. 100% on board.
Yeah.
Like, I think, the interesting thing about Jones is he probably has a higher ceiling than anyone imagined, right? I think he's kind of like a sneaky player. Like, and I've been trying to think of like a good player to compare. Like, I've thought like
What about like an Alex Smith, like a guy that like never like wowed people, but he won a lot of games.
Stewart's got it.
Got one, Michael. What do you got?
I look at Daniel Jones and I see Aaron Rodgers.
Ooh.
That's what I see.
I think Rodgers has a better arm. I'll say that.
He's got a gun. He's got a gun.
Yeah.
But I see Daniel Jones being that kind of quarterback.
He's a playmaker, man. He is a playmaker.
All right, let's go down that path for just a second. Who's a Aaron Rodgers light? Because he's not Aaron Rodgers. Like who's maneuverable, mobile, got a snap in his throw, accurate and tough. It's kind of hard to think about who. I don't have a guy.
Mahomes is like that.
Yeah, but
Mahomes is better.
Mahomes is like looking at
it's
his
true.
kids and hot chicks throwing touchdowns. I mean,
He's better.
Yeah, I just think Jones is going to be sneaky better. Like he could be a top 12 QB.
When?
No, next year. Next year, year after.
See, I think Jones, by the time his contract is up, he could be an NFC top 5.
Easy. I agree.
Yeah.
Sure.
Why not?
Let's do that. I'm in.
Where do I sign?
Yeah.
I just don't. There's a lot of people that hate on him. I know we're up on time here, but like for the people that severely criticize him, like, what are you watching? Like, this guy just makes plays. He came in and made plays.
That's my favorite part is that he's tough. Daniel Jones is tough.
You slide, you hang in the pocket, you take a hit, you put a ball on the money. Like, come on, he's a rookie.
He did it without his weapons. A lot of those guys were hurt, suspended.
Not one game with all of them, right?
Yeah,
That's true.
So if Jones can overcome fumbling the ball, you're looking at a guy that everyone's wow, who knew he was that good?
And overcome those tackles of his.
Yep, because you know what happens, Spear, when he fumbles, they go, see, I told you. If he can stop fumbling the ball, all of a sudden you're like, wow, this guy's way better than I ever thought he was.
Yeah.
Right?
Just cut the fumbles in half. I mean, even if he cuts it in half, that's a great. He'll have a great season.
Craig, you had that list of quarterbacks of your favorite quarterbacks, right? You remember that list?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Jones had a better rookie than all those guys, and I think 3 of them or 4 in the Hall of Fame that you listed, right?
Yep. Favre, Moon. I mean, by the way, I don't know about the moxie, but Jones has got a little Favre in him too, a little gunslinger in him,
Quiet.
He'll chuck it around for sure.
Was it the Bears?
Right.
Was it the Bears game?
I mean, Moon was playing in the CFL, right? Favre was sitting on the bench in Atlanta, right, before he got to Green Bay. Yeah, I mean, Jones, guy threw for 24 touchdowns, didn't he? 24 touchdowns, 3,000 yards.
12, yeah.
24 and 12. Yep.
Yeah,
Listen, people, today is a short, abbreviated, droning on session of the Giants, guys, because we've got some other things to do. I have no life. I could do this all day. But these guys have lives, especially Mikey B's on the way out to get some.
He's going to a taping in the Jersey Shore. That's where he's going.
Yeah. It's got some pole in you. No, I was kidding. Man, I love it. All right, so look, nygiantsrush.com. Check them out. I'll let them go through their Twitter handles real quick. Check out their new stuff. Michael Stewart posted some stuff up there, I think, today. Tell me what you're working on. Give me Twitter handle, and we'll roll. Mikey B, what are you doing?
At MJB, Mike Bastille.
M-double-B.
JB.
J. All right, guy, what are you working on?
Correct. We're gonna take a look at some players that are gonna surprise you on the team, and also different matchups to look for this year on the schedule.
Jeffy, what you got?
I'm going to take a look at our linebackers. We drafted a lot. We have a lot of linebackers. I'm going to try and lay that out and see who's best. But most importantly, I want to make sure our listeners get at me on my new Twitter handle. It's at Pilgrim's Point. I know I've been jumping around a little bit, but that's the last one that you'll need. So at Pilgrim's Point, start the conversation. And
smooth sunglasses on.
Yes, it's actually a picture of me and my daughter, but I think I cut out my daughter. But I got my favorite Giants hat on, so I used that one.
Yeah.
Either way, get at me, start the conversation.
Cool. All right. And at Pilgrim Point, we could use one of those.
Yeah.
What do you got, Michael Stewart? What are you working on? Because I know you're ready to pounce on something.
Well, it's at Golf or Bed. I'm just working on certain players, what projections, what we can expect, things of that nature.
Spiro, what you got?
My Twitter handle is at NY Sports SPAWTS guy
Funny
_SPI. Just going to be talking about the Giants wide receiver corps and, how it's going to help this year and how it's going to surprise a lot of people going into the 2020 season.
So we got content coming up. We'll get this podcast up on Podbean, and Mikey B's working on iTunes. The pressure's on. We'll get some new content up there for you. Download it, pass it on to your friends. Vimo, we're putting it on there. I have no idea what I'm working on. I got nothing. I'm working on Justin Tucker. I got nothing.
Find us our next kicker. That's what you need to do.
Actually,
There you go.
Yeah. I'm actually, because I don't know what's going to happen with Rojas. And I don't
we
know
didn't talk about him.
I'm sending him and Baker to an island. So
what's Larry Tynes doing? There's no way that guy can't kick
Call
a
him up.
Football still. Call him. I'll tweet at him. We're boys, don't worry.
That's your job.
Who's the oldest kicker in the league now?
Vinatieri? Is he still around?
Is he still
he's
at the
around,
Colts?
right?
You still
There's
kicking?
there's no reason why Tynes couldn't kick.
He can still kick a football. There's no way he can't.
By the way, I've seen YouTubes of his kids. They're rock stars.
Sign the
I
kids.
Yeah.
Sign him.
Yeah.
Expanded
Yeah.
rosters. Sign him.
All right, man. NYGiantsRush.com. These are my guys. Go check them out. We will be back in 2 weeks. Teaser. Got an interview coming up with Mr. Russ Salzberg, WFAM, New York popular radio show host, big Giants fan. We're going to be talking to him coming up for a half hour. I think I got it next Monday. He's a Giants insider. I mean, he lives and sleeps this stuff. So we're going to get – and he's good friends with George Martin, so we can maybe get some insight there. Right now, 3 letters. We're out. OUT. Peace.